Go ahead and like this video if you're excited about Sins of a Solar Empire 2. It's finally here, the sequel to one of the best RTS games just released into early access Thursday, October 27th. And is it everything that fans have always wanted? Well, the answer to that is a bit complex for a few reasons. Mostly, it's still early in the development of the game, so there's going to be a lot that is unfinished or that will change going forward. That said, I love what Sins 2 already has to offer. I'll get into all the gameplay details, but first let me go ahead and get my intro out of the way. Whoa, they've upgraded this ship. Welcome to the realm between the edge of twilight and the darkness of night. I'm Dusk Cerberus, and today I'll be covering everything that's related to gameplay in Sins of a Solar Empire 2. Well, mostly everything. I'm going to try to be clear and concise. First off, you can pre-order the game on the Epic Games Store. Not everyone's first choice, but the devs have got to do what they've got to do, you know? This will give you access to the technical preview, which is what is available for early access right now. It's a very early, almost like pre-alpha version, and you only get access to a few of the very core systems of the game. To start, players will only get to play the Tech Loyalist faction on a medium-sized single-player map with up to 3 other AI players. You can choose your player profile picture, emblem, and try the new color options. But there's not much else beyond this. There are a few settings that you can customize, like adjustable window or simulated full screen. There are also your audio options as well. Like I mentioned, very bare bones right now, but if you want to be able to play more factions like the Visari or the Advent, you're gonna have to wait until later when the game progresses further. The question arises though, should you buy the game now to play the early access? Now, if you want more features, my recommendation would be no. Wait until they come out with more updates before making the investment. If you're okay with the limited content Ironclad has out now, then go for it. I've had so much fun just testing out the game as it is. So, to end my rambling, let's get into the details of the gameplay for Sins of a Solar Empire 2. I will try to be brief and concise as it's easy to get overwhelmed with all the new features introduced to the game, so I'm going to try to compare to the first one to give like a little bit better context. To start, when you first open the game, there's the map and the UI. Not too different from the first game outside of some color changes and a cleaner, more minimal look. Now this could be an early access thing and likely to change. Also, the graphics are noticeably improved. Just look at that planet. Now the map is also very familiar to the ones from the first game. You still have your worlds with upgrade slots, gravity wells where you can construct stations and structures, and the phase lanes that connect the worlds to each other. These phase lanes, like the first Sins, are the only paths that ships can faster than light travel. You know, FTL travel from planet to planet. But that's kind of where the similarities start to end between Sins 1 and 2. In Sins 2, you have the same planet types with their corresponding asteroids and their resources needed to build your empire, but they require more effort to exploit. Planet management has been made streamlined, but also giving you a greater choice and customization with the addition of planet surface structures. Also, the map is now dynamic, one of the biggest changes to the game. Worlds now move in orbits around stars, and moons orbit around planets. Gone are the static worlds from the previous game. I mean, you can still turn this feature off in the settings, but I love that it adds more strategy to the new game, as phase lanes will adjust to the celestial movements. I feel like there should be more clarity added to where the movement of some of the planets are going to be. Maybe adjustments to the speed of that planet's orbit as well. But I'm very excited with what they have started. I mean, there's a lot of potential. I'm really, really excited. After looking at the game for the first time, the next things players might notice is the economy. Sins 2 is a little bit slower paced in the beginning compared to the previous game. So far, you must develop your colonies and invest in their upgrades and structures, otherwise you risk tanking your empire's economy when you expand too quickly. In case it hasn't been made clear yet, your previous Sins strategy is probably not going to work for Sins 2. Like the resource asteroids require investment in planet development before you can buy the mining facilities to extract them. That's no longer an early game thing. Also, resource markets are now tied to the minor factions, which also includes the pirates. Gone are the pirate raids at regular intervals, but investments in them as a minor faction will have its own rewards. The raids aren't gone completely, but like everything else, require a bit more effort on your part. It looks like Ironclad is trying to make the empire building side of the game much more expansive and in-depth, something that fans have been asking for. The new resource called Exotics has also been added, but we'll go over those a little bit more later, especially because a lot of them relate to ships and upgrade. Just like in Sins 1, you have to build research stations in order to unlock all the tech you need to conquer the stars. What's gone is the different research station types like military and civilian, All research is in one giant list with different categories that require only one type of research station. They're just gonna require more of them. This is a little clunky of a system, but you have a lovely under construction message on the side there, so this is likely a placeholder menu. I hope they kind of improve this further on because it's kind of a mess to get through. The idea of requiring more stations of one single type is interesting though. The option of building research stations on the planet's surface is also a fun new feature. I don't know, what do you think? Do you miss the old tech tree from the previous game? Well, and what about ship combat? That's like the biggest thing that Sins has going for it. It's the one thing that Sins 1 did exceptionally well and made it stand out from other RTS games. Ship combat in Sins 2 is glorious, to sum it up. The graphics update makes for some amazing battles. Sins 2 now takes advantage of advancements in technology with the new turret and missile systems. Capital ships and cruisers will now pivot and move their turrets independently to track down and shoot both enemy ships and missiles that are incoming, something that was not possible before. There are also redesigns for units, at least for the tech loyalists that we can play. Ships have all been given better models and textures, with some being completely remade. For those who like the lore, that's because the war has raged on for a while and the tech have adapted in response to all the battles and trauma that they've suffered so far. It's made me super excited to see what gets done with the other ships and the other factions. Not much has changed from the previous game outside of these new cosmetic updates. The same ship types are there, but their size and related factories have been reorganized. Larger cruisers are now made in the larger shipyard along with capital ships, which is a nice little change that I like personally. Oh, and speaking of capital ships, there's been some new stuff added to them that adds some more customization. In this early access build, we only get Akan and the coal battleships to use. These ships will now also require exotic materials, the new resources added, as I mentioned earlier in the video. These are now rare materials needed to build the massive ships and upgrade them. They require advanced resource processing stations to construct, and that is quite an investment in and of itself. Of course, your first capital ship is free, but be careful with it, as it will be a while before your empire will have the resources to build another. Along with their special abilities, you can use exotics to upgrade the component slots of your capital ships. These expand the range of like weapons or lower cooldown abilities. They add fighter wings and so on. This is what I mean by it adds a whole new level of customization for your ships, as no two capital ships are going to be the same unless you have like a specific loadout that you always go for. I'm also sure that exotics will be used later for other big giant structures like star bases or titans. Oh, that fleet size issue is no longer a problem because it no longer drains a percentage of your empire's resources like it did before, which is super nice. But again, you have to invest heavily into research stations to unlock all the tiers. I think it's around like 20 research stations right now to get to the end of the research line. Anyway, there's a lot here to mess around with and test. There are also many placeholders for missing content. It's a very, very early build of the game, and there's so much more Ironclad could add to it in later updates. If you're the kind of person who's fine with such a bare and unpolished game and are willing to test and offer feedback, by all means, get it now. You can go up to the Epic Games launcher and purchase it there for $39.99, I believe. If you're not though, I would wait for more features to be added, or maybe give it a try much later. It's only going to get better here on out. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you, and be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I'm Dusk Cerberus. I'm a variety game streamer and artist. Be sure to check out my Twitch stream here. What a delightful character.
This is where I need to be, or needed to be. Needed, yes. Wait, why are you here?
You cannot keep leaving the sanctuary. It's not safe. There are rumblings in the galaxy.
When aren't there rumblings in the galaxy? Yeah, okay. You're gonna keep making that face.
Can she join us? I like her. She's
It was
great.
nice seeing you again, Gamora. Star Guy? What do you mean? Okay, bye.
So, Gamora,
I don't know why
you
she
and
was so
Mantis
tight.
seem close.
We've met.
Okay.
I stream a variety of games and focus heavily on fantasy RPGs, but I also draw and paint other fun video game related stuff, so check out my other socials in the description. I hope you enjoyed your time here in the realm between the edge of twilight and the darkness of night. This is the New Dominion, and I will see you on the other side.
Ready for battle. Good day,